It's another Thursday. We're live. I'm Tarek Patel.
I'm Randy Rosenblum in Greenville, South Carolina, and this is SoCal Prep Report.
It's a new children's book I'm thinking about launching. Where is Randy Rosenblum? This week, last week we were tracking him in his journey from the West Coast, pretty much to the East Coast in South Carolina. I kind of forgot where he was last week, but now he finally has touched down in Greenville, as he alluded to at the top of the show. He hasn't quite found home yet, but he's in the stomping grounds of his new home. So a little update, Randy. What's it like been in South Carolina since you've been there for maybe about a week? Give us a little update on how much more barbecue you've had.
I've had a lot of barbecue. The weather's been great. It's 75 degrees and sunny today. We've checked out about 5 or 6 homes. We got a few more to look at on Saturday. Hopefully might make a bid on a home on Saturday. But so far, so good in Greenville. It's lovely here, and I don't miss LA that much yet. So who knows?
Just wait till the humidity hits, and then you'll be missing the dry heat. My quick question for you, and I don't know if you've gotten the sports landscape. What are you near? Are you near like South Carolina? Is there smaller universities around you? Is there some big high school near you that you're familiar with, or you haven't quite gotten there yet?
I haven't gotten to the high school scene, but Furman University, the Paladins, who are normally a pretty good basketball team, are right down the road here in Greenville. And then if you go about 15 miles down the highway, there's Clemson University, the Tigers. We see a lot of Clemson stickers on cars. Clemson is mighty popular in these parts.
Yeah, and you're also, I think you might be like in one of the best golfing areas in the country right there, man. So I don't know if that's something you might want to pick up and get out there and play. That being said, look, we're in the midst of the spring championship season, right? Specifically baseball, softball. So we've got information for you on that. Couple scores already, some matchups, first round, second round. That's kind of where we are in the mixed championships at the end of the month. So that's what's on tap for this week's show. But before we get to that, look, no sports show, in my opinion, in high school or at any level is good without a little bit of football threaded through it. We have a guest with us today from South Hills High School. It is Jacob Calderon, the head coach. We welcome him in. Randy and I will pepper him with a couple questions. Coach, welcome, and thank you to welcome to the show.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me. Very excited to be talking sports today.
Look, kind of a general question I want to start with. It's like spring football. It's serious. It matters. How much are you hammering the kids? How much of it is just kind of like having fun? How do you get a little mixture of both, and how do you get things accomplished? And still, you got a long ways to go before the fall. What's the ethos of your spring mentality right now for South Hills?
Yes, sir. Right now, it's about building the culture, about setting a standard amongst the team. Just getting all the guys to buy in. I'm a big Nick Saban fan, so it's all about getting the right guys on the bus and the wrong ones off. So we've started pretty early. There's been some changes to my coaching staff, and so we were going in early March, and we've been going once or twice a week, just harping down on the expectations and getting all the fundamentals right for us currently.
You know, Coach, you took over in February of 2022. It was a beleaguered program, but I know you know the program. You're a former alumnus of this high school.
Yes, sir.
What has it meant to you to try to build it back up, and where are you in terms of where you want to be?
Well, yeah, I was a graduate in 2005, which is during a very successful time period in South Hills football history. And so when I came back, that was my priority, to bring back that success, and as well as rebuild the traditions and the storied history we have. I'm going into my 5th year as the head coach now. And I think we're about to turn that corner and bring back some of that success to South Hills football, and just let people know around the area that we're back and we're ready to compete at the highest level possible.
You played for Steve Bogan, 2 CIF championships while you were a player, if I'm not mistaken, if our research serves us correctly. What are some things you took from him that are now DNA in this program? It's a two-part question. What have you taken from him? But also, what have you threaded yourself to make this not just a Bogan program or a tree, but also a program under Jacob Calderon?
Well, he's taught me a lot. I mean, about hard work, and there's no substitute for it. He's also a great X's and O's man and a great godly man as well. And so most of the program was built on faith, and I've used that, and I've been able to coach with a lot of great coaches in our area, as well as play for Bug. And so I just sprinkle in a little bit of everybody in terms of details, organization, being that player's coach, but also having that discipline. And then we're in a new age of football where the athlete likes to be coached up a little differently these times. And so, you gotta just work and understand the personalities of your players, and just start to build relationships. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 4 going into 5 years.
Well, you're in West Covina. South Hills is in the very competitive Hacienda League, and I think of Los Altos. I know they have a fine program. Is that the program you're going to try to take down come 2026?
Well, yeah, going into the year, I mean, it goes on a week-to-week basis. So we don't ever look ahead. We don't look behind, and we just worry about the ones in front. The Hacienda League is a tough league. We did get a couple new teams in this league this year. One was rival West Covina as well as Baldwin Park. So we're ready to compete with all the teams in our league, and I think we're going to have some fun this year, and it's going to be a successful one for us. But yeah, we don't look past, and we make sure that we're game planning versus every team we have on our schedule, because they do have good coaches and good programs as well.
Coach, when you took over the program, it was 0-10, and you've certainly won games since taking it over. But if I'm not mistaken, you've yet to have a winning season. I'm not here to bang on you, but what to you makes you feel like, all right, 2026, it's going to be a better year, and I would assume you're thinking a winning season.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I've been working diligently to get that winning season. I think this year the difference is amongst the chemistry of our team. These guys from the seniors all the way down to the freshmen going into sophomore year are really buying into each other and being a lot more selfless when it comes to the weight room and at practice, and they're taking care of each other. I noticed, because I'm also an athletic director and teacher on campus, that these guys hang out with each other, and it's more than just about themselves. And they understand that the program is bigger than everybody else, and we're starting to build that team chemistry a lot sooner than we have in the past. And I think going into the summer and fall, that's what's going to carry us into that winning season.
Coach, you talked about being an AD and a teacher, and obviously you love your football team. How difficult is it to be a great football coach and have those other responsibilities?
Well, to me, I've always told everybody, as long as I'm doing sports, I'm very passionate about sports, and it's something I love. And I'm at the school I grew up at. So it's never a problem, and it's always my priority to make sure not only football is doing a great job, but all the athletics on campus. And so I've taken that and personally done my best to try to make sure that everybody on campus and in South Hills is being successful with their sports programs. So it's something I love to do, and it's never an issue, and it's always good to build rapport with the coaches on campus, and just make sure that they're getting taken care of too. And so I love being that guy that is able to help everybody out.
Coach Calderon, last one for me, and then maybe Randy's got one more. I do want to talk about your team. I'm looking down at my notes here. You return your quarterback, your top running back, your top wide receiver, and the second leading tackler on your team. And that's assuming, let's just call it what it is, that those guys are all still at the school. The transferring is crazy in high school sports. So maybe give us an update on that, and if they are, how excited are you to have those guys back, and maybe even name them if you can?
Well, that's the biggest thing. My quarterback, Fabian Marez, he's a 4-year starter for us. He started the second half of his freshman year, and now that we've kind of changed some things on the offensive side of the ball, I think he's going to have a spectacular year. He's not only can throw the rock, but he likes to run with the ball. I mean, we had him playing a little bit of running back last season as well. Jacob Gallardo, who came to us last season, who plays for us, great DB, cornerback, wide receiver, can take the ball 80 yards, and it's always nice when they can do that. We do have an up-and-coming running back by the name of Jalen Lang, a.k.a. Boogie. I think he's going to have a really big year, as well as some pieces who have come onto campus. Cody Tui Toloau, he's going to be playing offense and defense for us, defensive line, as well as Jacob Gallegos, who's going to be running the ball and doing multiple things for us on offense and defense. And those guys are all older kids, and so mixed with the younger group, I think we have some depth finally at a lot of positions, and so it'll help us throughout the season.
Coach Calderon, the last one for me. I've heard you talk before after game, and for you, I believe it starts with the running game. Is that your belief? You just talked about all these RBs that are going to be on your squad this year. Is it about the running game for you?
Oh, it's always, well, I'm a defensive guy, so it's always about stopping the run, but I'm a big guy in terms of running the ball. You got to run the ball to be able to control the game. And I think that's a big thing for us. I mean, prior to going into this season, we were primarily wing T, so we were a run heavy offense. This time we'll spread it out and do some different things, but the priority is always to run the ball and set the line of scrimmage. And I like to be very physical up front, so that's the biggest thing we do here at South Hills.
Jacob Calderon, thank you so much for joining the show. South Hills, we're going to keep an eye on you in the fall. And when you start 7-0, we'll have you back on the show. But hey, good luck to you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate it, and go South Hills.
There he goes, Coach Calderon. Another team yet again to keep tabs on in the fall. And I do think with the returners, and it sounds like a couple added pieces, I think Coach is going to get his winning season, Randy. We're going to change gears here, baseball time, and we're going to start right off the bat, Division I. We had the pool play format. We talked about it last week, and now there's been some scores before round 2 of pool play. So we have those first round scores, and it's just a board, Randy. But you tell me what sticks out to you before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty. Is there any scores or anything that stood out to you among the first round of pool play, which, again, for those out there, anybody that lost gets another game. This is the beauty of the new format. It's not single elimination. Go ahead.
I think when the CIF Southern Session went to this format, they had this opening round in mind. Just great games for the most part. What stands out? Certainly is Norco coming back from a huge deficit down 7-3 late to rally to win 8-7, showing a touch of class. And obviously the St. John Bosco game. The Braves now have won 12 straight baseball games. They're the team to beat in my mind. They're playing great ball. They won a tremendous game. They won extra innings and won 2-1. And champions know how to win the close games. And the Bosco Braves are winning close games when it matters most. Those are the two that stuck out. Also, Notre Dame was mighty impressive, as was Harvard Westlake. Tronstein hit another home run. Kirchner had a good pitching performance. Harvard Westlake and Notre Dame out of the Mission League, mighty impressive as well.
Yeah, and Sierra Canyon, too, out of the Mission League. I actually was impressed with Notre Dame. That score, I kind of thought Ayala would actually come and gut one out with their grit and their tenacity, but Notre Dame had I think they had one big inning. They scored like 6 runs. To me, actually, as an overall stat, all the high seeds won. So all the home seeds won except for one game. And that was Temecula Valley hosted Huntington Beach. But everyone knows Huntington Beach and how talented they are. So not super surprising, but 11-0 on the road is quite impressive. So with those being the first round scores, now we're going to look at the second round or second game of pool play matchups. And for how this pool play works is it's not like you're slotted to play someone else. All the 1-0 teams are playing each other, and all the 0-1 teams are playing each other. So, Norco, Notre Dame, those are both, everything I think on the left here. No, that's not true. A lot of these games, I want to make sure, Ayala Maranatha is not the case. But the Harvard Westlake Huntington Beach, Norco, Notre Dame, those are 1-0 games. Sierra Canyon Bosco is a 1-0 game, and Orange Lutheran Corona are the 1-0 games. Anything to you that stands out in either of these games?
I think they all stand out. I think they're terrific matchups again. Obviously, Norco and Notre Dame, who were mighty impressive. Norco with the comeback, Notre Dame with that big inning to prevail big. That's a mighty intriguing game. Oaks Christian Cypress in the losers bracket, and I hate to call them losers because they're tremendous teams, but OC and Cypress is a big-time game, and the winner who comes out of there is certainly in the mix. Obviously, for the loser, they're done for the year. But I love all these matchups, and again, I love the format. The opportunity to come back after losing the game is sensational for coaches. It's sensational for the kids. You lose a heartbreaking game, you're not completely devastated because you have to turn around, come back. And there's been some teams on our board who lost close, heartbreaking games, and now they still have a golden opportunity to move on if they can play just a little bit better.
Yeah, to me, the Monday night game, the big game to me with all the lights and all the attention is that Harvard Westlake Huntington Beach game. Holy cow, man. Just talent upon talent. And by the way, by winning that first game, you've basically guaranteed yourself if you lose that third game. So the last detail I want to share with the viewers is the remaining teams that get a third game is anyone that's 1-1. So you're 0-2. You already mentioned it, Randy. You're out. You get that third game if you are a 1-1 team. They play each other. If you're 2-0, you automatically advance to the quarterfinals, which is the final 8 teams. Look, just looking at these matchups and kind of a redemption, like if you're Temecula Valley, you're telling me you're not a little, angry going into that game with a little redemption. So these teams get to test their resilience in after losing, and they could potentially move on to the quarterfinals.
How about Maranatha, though, too? They're a team that blew the big lead to Narco. So, they're going to come back saying, hey, we had an opportunity. We let it slip away. Let's get it done in the second game.
Moving on, we're going to look at, I believe, do we have the Division II bracket in CAF Southern Section? These aren't scores. This should just be the opening round bracket. Okay, it's coming. Just wanted to make sure. But yeah, so look, this is where, to me, it's always like football, Randy. So we have the juggernauts in Division I, the Blue Bloods, the powerhouses. But then in Division II, it's always remarkable to see anybody could come out of this field. I mean, you're talking about some of the best teams in the Southern Section. I believe this is the top half of the bracket. So you've got teams like, I think Villa Park is in there. I think Westlake is down there at the bottom. We're getting it made a little bigger here. There we go. Now we're talking. Aquinas is very good. They've got good pitching. San Clemente. But yeah, Villa Park, I believe, got the #1 seed. Santa Margarita, a Trinity League team. So just a couple matchups there. Let's go to the bottom half of the bracket. Then we'll get Randy's thoughts. But I just think this is one of those brackets where it's an absolute gauntlet. 1 through 32. There it is, Servite in the middle, Westlake at the bottom, Alemany and Chaminade, other Mission League teams that are certainly dangerous that got in to this Division II bracket.
Well, I think the #1 priority here is you got to win. I mean, it's not like the U1 that we just saw where you had an opportunity to come back like a Maranatha, where they got beat, heartbreaking fashion. They still have another day. They live for another day, even though they had this setback. Here, it's do or die. If you're Villa Park and you're one of the best teams and you lose, you're done. So I think that's the greatest aspect. And you're right, from top to bottom, there's just team after team that are capable. So when you're mapping this bracket out, anybody can go through it. But again, you're going to have to play great from day one to stay alive.
I want to move on to, okay, is this Division III? Perfect. Okay, so this is Division III real quick. Agora at the top out of the Marmani League, if I'm not mistaken. Again, to me, these are, there's 9 divisions, Randy, in the CAF Southern Section baseball playoffs. We're not going through all of them. I just wanted to show the top 3 because I think there's some real top-end talent still in the Division II and III bracket. This is the top half of it. And then if we go to the bottom half, you'll see that it's very, very notable programs in this Division III bracket. Any teams that stand out to you?
Well, you mentioned Agur, and it's a school that's had tremendous success in a lot of different sports. We don't talk a lot about Agur, the Chargers in the Ventura County, but they have tremendous teams in a lot of different sports, as I noted. So the Charger baseball team, I'm glad you brought them up. They have a chance. But again, it's do or die. So you have to play great from day one in the tournament to win. Again, this is an exciting time of year. I love the new format for D1, but also the do or die format is what makes the NCAA basketball tournament so great. So these lower division schools, knowing that they have to win or the season's over, makes it a terrific tournament, and everybody's on guard. Everyone is fired up to play because they know this is it, especially the seniors. Their high school career could end.
Keep it moving to the city section. This is the open division. Now, most of the games were played yesterday, except Birmingham. I actually don't know why, but they're playing. They're the number one seed. They're playing today against Banning. But most of the semifinal is set. There it is. And you're going to have a doubleheader next Wednesday at Cal State Northridge. To me, the story right now that's looming and kind of just bubbling underneath the surface, I talked about it last week, and that to me is Granada Hills. They've been the number one seed in this tournament a few years, not last year, but maybe like 2 years prior. They've won the West Valley League, and they've never gotten to Dodger Stadium. Now here's Granada. They go on the road. They beat Bell. Coach Matt Matuzak, new baby. I mean, all kinds of fun things are in the mix here, and maybe the Highlanders find their way to Chavez Ravine. What do you think, Randy?
Well, thank you, Luke Chow, because he saved the day. Rojas was tremendous on the mound for Bill. It went extra innings. It was a 2-0 game. Jaden Rojas, who was the hero of the city championship game a couple years ago for Bell, pitched a brilliant game, got a no decision, and Granada able to score 2 late runs and extra frames to pull it out. But it was Chow that was the difference. He went pitch for pitch with Rojas. That is a terrific city section baseball game. The other factor here, every one of the Eastern League teams got beat. I feel bad about that. It was a great regular season for the Eastern League. Southgate, Garfield, and obviously Bell, but all 3 fell in the quarterfinals in the open division. Now, unlike the CIF Southern section, it is do or die. They start with an 8-team bracket, and that's the quarterfinals. You lose, you're done. Those 3 teams lose, they're out.
Quick changing gears, we'll just look at this real quick. This is softball. If we have the Division I bracket, talk about a gauntlet. You know, we talked about this last week. This is another team. Okay, so we're going to stick with the city baseball. Sylmar, the number 1 seed, they ended up winning. This could be on me. I believe these games are just the brackets, but Sylmar's the team to beat in this bracket, in my opinion. And then more West Valley League teams, like Cleveland at the bottom, is a team that could get to Dodger Stadium. What do you think, Randy?
Well, Ray Rivera's team at Sylmar is the clear favorite. They got great pitching. They absolutely took it to Marshall and shut them out in the opening round. They are the favorite. But your point is well taken. The West Valley's been the best league in city section baseball for many, many years, not just at the top level. So when they trickle down and go down a bracket or 2, they're mighty tough. So Sylmar will have some competition, probably from those foes from the West Valley.
Now we'll look at Division I in softball. Again, we talked about it last week. Norco, Marietta Mesa. But you can't count out teams like, I think like El Medina, Chino Hills, Etowanda, Agora, that middle of the pack in this top half of the bracket, and you can show that bottom half whenever you guys are ready. Or maybe this is the full thing. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think it is. This field is loaded. Notre Dame Sherman Oaks won the Mission League. Nobody's talking about them. They got 2 twins in the Luderer sisters. Really, really good. Not to mention the juggernaut matchup, Oaks Christian and Chaminade, Finley Supon. That's Jeff Supon's little girl. She's a really, really good pitcher. Another toss-up in this division, Randy.
Yeah, the last I checked, Supon was 14-1. But you got to like, again, and I mentioned it last week, Chark, the 2 powerhouse teams. I do think there is separation. Marietta Mesa with Lily Hauser, who's undefeated in the circle. And then you look at that great, great team from Norco, which is as good as any team in the country, all kinds of D1 players all over the field. I have said it before, and I'll state it again. I believe those 2 schools, Hauser's going to be in the circle. She's probably going to go up against Coral Williams, who's a great pitcher. for Norco. I look for those two teams to hook up in the finals in softball.
We got a couple minutes left. This show has flown by. I actually want to point out the high-end transfers, and we talked about it. I alluded to it a little bit with Jacob Calderon, because I mentioned, hey, you have the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver. For all I know, he was going to tell us, yeah, those guys aren't here anymore, because transfers do happen in the spring. And, I've got some marquee names, and we're going to roll through a couple, and then I'll get a thought, and then we'll roll through some more. So the first two I want to look at is Malik Allen is now no longer at St. John Bosco and is at Inglewood. This has been the starting running back for St. John Bosco. And the next one is Duve Williams, who's one of the best defensive backs in the country, no longer playing for Coach Scott Altenberg at Sarah. He's at Inglewood, and that's according to the LA Times, who reported that. Though if you go to Duve Williams' Twitter profile, it hasn't been updated. So I want to be cautious, but I think he has transferred. Your initial thoughts on those two big names on the move?
Well, Malik Allen out of Bosco, he's a guy that runs 4.40. He's slow to the ground. He's built, as I said, low to the ground and very tough to tackle. And he's going to get his own ball and play with it now, because he will be the main featured guy. At St. John Bosco, he might have been the starter, but they rotated a lot of running backs in there. He's going to be the main guy. And for Duve Williams, he's a tremendous player. He's a Cal commit. He's in that secondary, another track guy, great speed, plays all over the field. He's going to make a lot of tackles. Inglewood has picked up a lot of talent in just two guys. Those two guys on offense, obviously the running back in Allen and Williams on defense. Boy, that makes that team a lot better and a lot faster.
We're going to cruise through three more here and then two more. So the big one in the so far is Marcus Fakatu. You're talking about the number one recruit in the country, going from Orange Lutheran to Sierra Canyon, just had a visit to Texas, so that's like a huge one. Then DeMar DeZern from Palisades, now he's at Westlake. This guy's a burner, Randy. We're like one of the fastest guys in California on the football field. He's going to play for the Clawsons at Westlake. And then Cameron Pooley, which is a little bit of a head scratcher, but he was the quarterback at Chaminade. So we got a player going from the Mission League to the Trinity League. Your thoughts on those three before we get to the final two?
Pooley, I love his work ethic. It's a quarterback that'll come in and he'll play hard. He's smart. He's in the room looking at film, studies relentlessly. He's a big kid, physical kid, and I think he'll definitely help the Monarchs. DeZern was unguardable in the city section at Palisades. He was scoring touchdowns after touchdowns. He started his high school career at Alamany, and DeMar DeZern is big time. So whenever you can get a guy like that into your camp at Westlake, you have a superstar. He's going to score a lot for the Wolverines. And as far as Marcus, you talk about a high ceiling, you're talking about an NFL ceiling. He's a big guy, 6'8", wide body, can still put on weight. He can play off the edge, but he also can play inside on that defensive line. Marcus is big time. Those are three tremendous talents.
Yeah, Sierra Canyon got a good one there. And the last two, they're both going to Centennial, and they're both from Cathedral, and that's Jaden Jefferson and Quentin Hale. So under Coach Matt Logan's fast offense, and he likes to throw it, you got a standout Division I quarterback and a superstar potential wide receiver, like big athlete, throw it, go get it type dude. So what do you think about Matt Logan's two shiny new toys in Centennial?
I think he's smiling in the coaching office every day. Hale's long, 6'3", you mentioned it, very athletic. Jefferson's a dual threat quarterback. He can run, he can throw, so he's going to be great in the offense. They'll move him around at quarterback. They'll have design plays to try to get him out of the pocket and make things happen. They'll also incorporate a good running back. But to get both Hale and Jefferson to Hale, remember that combination. It'll be a sweet one in the CIF Southern section next year. Look out St. John Bosco. Look out Mater Dei. Look out to all the other big guys, the Orange Lutherans. Centennial's going to be really good.
The Huskies are going to be really good. Randy, that's it, man. We ran out of time.
Over already?
It's it, man. We got nothing more to talk about. You'll have to tune in next week. Thank you to Jacob Calderon for coming on here, talking a little South Hills football. We've kind of run down the big names that are on the move in football. Next week, we'll have more scores, and we'll be a little bit closer to crowning CIF championships and a city champion. The Dodger Stadium game is very close. That's May 23rd. That's next weekend. We'll have it all next week, Thursday, 12:30, SoCal Prep Report. Randy and myself, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.